Mr. Speaker, democratic governments around the world have had to relearn a tough lesson concerning totalitarian regimes. A government that lies to its own people will lie to the world. Beijing's management of the coronavirus has been called its Chernobyl moment by scholars around the world, including our own Irwin Cotler. Will the government join calls for an investigation of China's COVID-19 conduct, as Australia is asking?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me begin by saying that I defer to no one in my tremendous respect for Irwin Cotler, who is, I think, a moral authority recognized by all members of this House. When it comes to reporting on the coronavirus in countries around the world, it is absolutely the case that we all help our own citizens and we help each other with candor and transparency. And it is also the case that we need to work together. Having said that, I think all members of this House will agree that a democracy will always be more transparent than any authoritarian regime.
Mr. Williamson.
Grudgingly, it seems the government is now open to reviewing the World Health Organization's response to COVID-19. But, Mr. Speaker, officials from this international agency have thus far refused to testify before the Health Committee. Will the government join us in calling on WHO officials to testify before our House of Commons Committee?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, there was nothing grudging at all in the very candid and important conversation our Minister of International Development, Corinna Gould, had recently with Dr. Tedros of the WHO. In that conversation, she talked about the essential role the WHO plays as the only international organization that coordinates the world's health response, and we need that in a pandemic. She also spoke about how important it will be to have a post-crisis review.
Mr. Williamson.
Canada's ambassador to China, Dominic Barton, has lavished praise on Beijing's COVID-19 response. Does the government share their ambassador's high opinion of China's response to COVID-19?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I began by saying that I think we share a high regard for Irwin Cotler, and let me simply say that I personally have a very high regard for Ambassador Dominic Barton, who is the right man at the right place at the right time. Ambassador Barton is absolutely central to our procurement work in China today, and his extensive business experience is saving Canadian lives.
Mr. Williamson.